Wonderful. And he will be talking about the Alkimia project. Thank you.
Okay.
Do you have a cell phone in your pocket?
No, the other pocket.
Yeah, you have to take it out.
Unfortunately, you don't. It's just close to the full. Thinking of all the pocket cuts. There we go. But it's also
No, it's off.
no noise, but no sound.
That's
He's getting someone. Good.
Do you have a phone in here?
no, there.
Maybe foil.
Are you a loudspeaker?
I hope so. Do you guys listen to me on the back? It's okay?
Okay, so maybe we'll start, and then once he gets the mic, we'll add a mic.
Yeah, just make sure you speak up or the camera won't pick it up too well.
Yeah.
It's running.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about Alkimia. It's a new framework, it's just being born. It's an idea from the KD Finance Applications Group. The Finance Apps Group is a new group. We're trying to gathering all the finance-related applications. Finance as in business or money-related. We have my manager. I'm a developer of that team. Craft, which is an invoice and document management application. Scrooge, they are our competition. And Gravu also, it's a subscriber management. And well, we are new, most of them were not really even in KDSBN.
Okay.
Yay.
And we got together in 2009, started talking about what to do together, and we had a spring last year, and out of that we came to an idea. Initially, the Craft and Cayman Money team had the idea to integrate data, share data, because I mean we kept the accounting and where the money was going, and Craft had the invoices and some kind of stock management and document management. So the idea was to integrate those two applications. During the sprint, we came to the idea of making this a general framework and make it work not only for finance applications, but only for other applications who could share financial related data. And also we saw the need for some finance specific features for base classes that we needed. Out of that came the first actual work we had was some base classes. Arc value is one class that handles the accurate representation of currency. Some people will say, well, you have double with, I don't know, you even have classes with specific precision and that kind of stuff, but it's tricky to have an accurate representation of currency amounts, and also you get a lot of conversion methods and stuff that you want to do it right. So we had a base class, we worked on that, and Kmart Money is already using it, and we're making these available for other applications to use. Unfortunately for packagers, we're also adding another dependency, which is not always nice, but we try to keep changes really to a small pace. And well, Live Alkimia has gone through KD review, and it's already in extra year office. At some point, we also intend to have our own group of applications. I don't know, extra year finance or whatever, but at this point, all finance applications go into the office group. And also, well, we have the Alkimia server. This is the main core of Alkimia. We intend to have data integration among applications to share data, and also a place to have our common features. For example, for quote downloading, I mean, you want to know the currency rates, share rates, and whatever from investments, foreign currency, whatever. And there is a ton of methods for that. Most applications have, I don't know, some way to retrieve data from Finance Yahoo or from another country-specific web page or server. We also have these, for example, import-export from Microsoft Money, Quicken, Newcash, and also among our applications, you can now convert your data files from Cayman Money and Scrooge, and vice versa. And you also have the online banking. There is a couple of Libs running around, Lib OFX, AQ Banking, and there is a ton of features to implement for each library, and a good idea is to have all that into a common place and not have to redo it for every application. So the idea is that it's DBOS based, so it's easy to share data with other applications or other, for example, with the workspace, with Plasma, and we have a small prototype at the moment, and it's still in playground. I'm working on it a lot, so it's really under our restructuring. So here is basically what came out of that sprint, having, well, each application will have their own storage. We don't lose that. but we have a common server that we have a storage layer, business logic layer, which will have everything I mentioned before, and it will also be possible to share data with outside applications. Basically, the idea was, for example, you get an invoice from via Keymail, and then you have a Keymail plugin that says, okay, load this into Alkimia, and Alkimia will report that back to the finance applications. Or you buy music via Amarok, and then you can inform that and just register that and say, well, I spent, I don't know, $2 on a music track. And also, it's not here, but for example, which is a bit tricky, but have some of that data shared with Nepomuk, and so you can have some semantic information on your finances. Which is, it's always tricky because we are always dealing with confidential data, so we have to see the way to do it without sharing too much. Okay, what I'm working on now is I quote basically a prototype to download data and have that shared over a Diva service. It started as part of a Season of KDE project. Unfortunately, we didn't have much luck with our students. It was left when it was halfway through. So what I did was I resumed development in December. I stepped back a little from working on Kememani and started working on this to prove the Alkimia concept was feasible and it could be done and shared with other applications. So it's what I was talking about, have a central point with where quotes are downloaded, investment quotes, foreign currency, wherever you can get from finance sites. Share that code so that applications don't have to implement this over and over again. For example, you have common libs for the most common stock markets, New York Stock Exchange, Frankfurt, Nasdaq. But when you come to the local markets like Africa, South America, China, you don't get that in the common libs like finance quote or other scripts running around. So, and actually we do have a lot of users who are from small countries all over the world. I don't know, I've seen users from China, South Korea, Central Africa, Chile, Argentina, you name it, and each country has its own way to get quotes. So the idea is to gather that in a central place where you can have just a plugin for that specific stock market, and then you can make that information available to all applications. And well, from there, once we prove that the Alkimia concept is feasible and it can be done, then we got on to our the world domination plan, and for example, that's we have invoices in Craft where we say, okay, this customer owes me that and that money. I send the invoice, and then I register the debt and the expected payment date in Scrooge. Then we have an online banking feature. I get the deposit from the customer via my bank. I get that informed via my online banking features, and Alkimia reports back to both Craft and Scrooge, and the payment is settled. So the idea is to have online banking and the communication among Craft and Scrooge all done via Alkimia. And make it as seamless as possible for users. These applications are really for end users. You don't expect them to know more than a few concepts about development, just that it runs. And usually we get one of the remarks that we get is that it's a kind of application that it's the last to be migrated when a user migrates from Windows to Linux. They usually say, well, I waited to migrate until I could migrate my financial data. For those people, it's really important. We usually get, I don't know, migration with 10 years of financial data, and it's really important for them to work, and they don't know a thing about underlying frameworks. So our target is to make it as seamless as possible to do it. So another of the planned features is to move code to Alkimia that's replicated at this point among the different applications. Quotes download is one of those. We have in Cayman Money about 3 different methods at the moment to get quotes. Import-export is another. It's really hard to do it right. The most common format is QIF, the Quicken format, and it's not standard at all. Every version of Quicken has a slightly different format and slightly different interpretations, even per language. And also the banks, even if there is a so-called standard, they don't respect it, so we have to test and test and test and do it all over again, and we always get something wrong with a particular bank somewhere around the world. So our idea is to join efforts and have that in a central place and work on that together, particularly in this case with the Scrooge guys. They've done a really good job with their import-export features, and we'll have all that into Alkimia and work it there. And also, base classes like money representation and for example, extensions to local classes. For example, to get financial holidays instead of regular holidays get financial holidays and stuff like that that is really finance specific. Also, communicate with third-party applications. Like I said, communicate with, for example, Gmail and enter invoices through Alkimia straight from an email we received. Register when we all buy music with Amarok, or even with a browser. Just say, well, I bought this with in eBay or in Amazon, and just have a right click and say register that into Alkimia. And here comes the data confidentiality, which is always a problem. We have to work on that a lot more in the future, just to know how much we expose, how much data we share. And lightweight clients, mobile plasmoids, stuff like that. I mean, I don't expect to see My Money or Scrooge or Craft running full-fledged on a phone. Scrooge and Craft, they require database running, but even My Money, when it comes to 10-year data, while you have a lot of resources consuming. So what we expect to do is just have a small plasmoid or a small client, and with a minimum set of data, just I don't know, the main clients, main categories for your expenses, so you can just register data, say, I don't know, I went to a supermarket, I spent that and that, and then you go back to your desktop, share sync somehow with the device, and load that into Alkimia, and then Alkimia feeds that data to the other applications. I mean, I don't expect anyone to try to do an account, a bank account reconciliation on your phone. So we only want to do it at some small client. And well, what we need to make this happen. The big issue we have right now is all teams are full with work. I mean, it probably happens with all applications. And I've seen some posts, some blog posts, just a few days ago, and probably it's a problem that we don't advertise enough what we need. People think that it's really hard to work on an application, and it's not that hard. And we'd love to get patches or some new people coming around where we need to mentor, and really what we need is experience with some of this, or willing to learn some of this stuff, and well, there is something for everybody. Plugins, even financial background, even if you don't know really how to code, someone with financial background who can get, I don't know, interest calculation and clever reports on how to show data to users. Most of the reports, for example, in Cayman Money, I've done myself, and I don't know, they're good, but they don't show some data that probably could be calculated, and well, then give us services, SQL databases, and there is a lot of area to contribute, and well, help is always welcome. Okay, that was good.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Currently, how are you dealing with some of the regulatory aspects? I mean, finance data has got a lot of issues. I mean, dependent on various jurisdictions. I mean, you look at how the United States we handle finance data versus like Germany or France or whatever. How are you guys going to be able to deal with some of the requirements that banks have? Like, for instance, I know that like in the United States, if you want to get access to certain banking data, you have to actually be a trusted, quote unquote, data ingest method, have a trusted data ingest method.
Okay, one of the things is that we are not accessing the banks ourselves. We're leaving that to specific financial libraries, okay, like Live OFX or AQ Banking. So yes, we're not dealing with that ourselves. Okay. And as for example, tax regulations and that kind of stuff, which is really different from country to country, no, we're not getting into that. Okay. I think none of the applications in KDE are getting into that. Scrooge is even simpler in that regard. Mm-hmm. My personal take on that is if you need your data displayed in a certain way, a plugin for a specific application can be done. That's what I expect to do for in case for Argentina. But yes, we're not getting into that because it's simply overwhelming to do it for even a small number of countries. We try to make our data accurate, consistent, and easy to display in different ways, but making that for even the USA and Europe would be really overwhelming. I think one good thing is that the teams are not centered in one specific country. So you prevent a single country view from affecting the code. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question about Cayman Money. What's the status of Cayman Money? Would you think that it's good enough for an average Quicken user to move to KDE and Cayman Money? Or are there any blockers left?
Not at this. I mean, at this point we have one. It's not a blocker, but it's an issue sometimes, which is performance. The migration to KDE4 caused a few performance issues, but actually most of our users are, I think, people who migrated from Quicken and Microsoft Money. The developers were Quicken and Microsoft Money users, so it shows on the way. I mean, not feature by feature, but on the way it's organized and and some of the user experience it shows. But at this point it's working okay, and actually we are defacing the KDE3 version, and we're working, most of our work these days goes into these performance issues. But there is, I think, not really a blocker at this time.
So you would recommend a normal user to use KDE for managing his finances?
Yeah.
Does this may be a two-part question, but does either KMyMoney or Scrooge at this point support automatic downloading of banking transactions from different financial institutions?
What do you mean by automatic?
So say I have 4 different bank accounts and an investment account, and I don't want to have to go and type in like, I just bought this many stocks for this much money, or I just went to the ATM and took out $100. Can you connect, and that's all in place?
Yeah, we provide that via, like I said, LiveOFX and AQ Banking. Yeah. One issue you may find is that not all distros build MyMoney or Scrooge with AQ banking support, for example, or LiveOFX, or even in Windows. I think AQ banking was not on the KDE on Windows packages, but yes, you have that, and just press a button. It downloads the applications, it matches. If you, for example, entered a transaction by yourself and then you get it from the bank, it tries to match that. It tries to reconcile whatever you have registered and with the bank statement. Yeah, okay. Both MyMoney and Scrooge have it.
Okay, and that supports pretty much any bank, no matter what country you're in?
That's, no, that would be an overstatement.
That gets into a bigger issue even, because like you said, as far as the regulation, the actual OFX, which most banks have moved towards, like they might have an export of a QIF, but the actual OFX financial schema of communication and the handshakes and everything in that whole transaction, that's a consortium of Intuit and Microsoft and like 1 or 2 other people that actually mandate that. And you must be in that consortium to actually do it. And that costs bukus of money. And it's really kept Linux and a lot of open source applications out unless some company comes in, develops on top of that, and does their own closed proprietary connection to it. So that whole like quicken, you just automatically get stuff done, that's actually been a consortium between like Microsoft and Intuit and a very exclusive party. It was very hard to get into that whole deal. Like the AQ banking with a lot of European, it has a more open protocol, easier for other projects to get into, but OFX is really a wall. That's why you can download OFX, you can download QIF, but the handshake is a closed party communication.
Yeah, at some point we even, I think it was either LiveOFX or AQ Banking that does the handshake via some Microsoft Money servers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're in Europe, you're in the USA, you're probably lucky to say that. In my case, for example, they don't offer anything other than a text file. And we have a plugin for that, but yeah, I have to log into my bank account, download that, and then feed that into my Mac.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you, Alvaro.